Chapter 36 The Plan. All day long we ate up the road through Montana. It hadn't looked so far on the map, but it was all mountains. We started in the foothills of the Rockies as we left Yellowstone, and all day we climbed up and down. Sometimes the road snaked along the side of a cliff, and the only thing between us and the sharp drop was a piddly railing. Often we sailed around a bend. We came face to face with a camping trailer, swinging its wide body around the curve. "These roads are a pisser," Gramps said, but he was like a little kid riding a hobby horse. "Gid yap! Let's get a move on," he said, encouraging the car up a hill. "Yee-haw," he said as he swept down the other side. I felt as if I was torn into pieces. Half of me was oogling the scenario. I had to admit it was as pretty as, maybe even prettier than, Bybanks. Trees and rocks and mountains, rivers and flowers, deer and moose and rabbits. It was an amazing country, an enormous country. But the other half of me was a quivering pile of jelly. I could see our car bursting through the railing and plunging down the cliff. As we approached each curve, I could see us smashing straight on into a truck or a camper. Every time I saw a bus, I watched it sway. I watched its trees spine dangerously close to the gravel at the road's edge. I watched it plunge on, eating up the road, defying those curves. Graham sat quietly with her hands folded on her lap. I thought she might sleep, especially after staring awake all night, but she didn't. She wanted to hear about Peavy. So all day long, as I took in the scenery, and as I imagined us in 1,000 accidents, and as I prayed underneath it all to any tree whizzing by, I talked about Peavy. I wanted to tell it all today. I wanted to finish it. On the day after Mr. Berkway appeared at Phoebe's house and told us about Mr. Cadaver, Phoebe and I were going to put our plan in motion. We were going to track down Sergeant Bickle's son, and dis- according to Phoebe, discover the whereabouts of Phoebe's mother. I wasn't positive that Sergeant Bickle's son was a lunatic, and I was convinced that he would lead us to Phoebe's mother. But enough of Phoebe's tales had been transplanted into my brain so that I was caught up in the plan. Like Phoebe, I was ready to take some action. We could hardly sit still all day at school. Phoebe, especially, was fired up. She was worried. She was worried too. She was afraid we might not discover her mother alive, and I was beginning to share that fear. At school, everyone was still buzzing about the journal readings. Everyone wanted to know who had written the journal entry about the murder. Alex avoided Mary Lou, Alex avoided Mary Lou because of what she had said about this being a pink jerk, and Mary Lou avoided Beth Ann because of what Beth Ann had written about the chicken kisses. Megan and Christy taunted Beth Ann with, "Did you really tell Mary Lou that kisses taste like chicken? Did she really believe you?" And they taunted me with, "Do you really kiss trees? Didn't you know you were supposed to kiss boys?" Kisses were on my mind that day for other reasons. They were in the air. At lunch, my tray came in contact with Ben's mouth. He might have been aiming at aiming a kiss at my hand, a peculable thing for him to do, but he ended up removing my bread crust from his cheek and dashing out of the